Hello, I'm back again with another yap session, and you might be wondering, does he have a candy inside his mouth? No, it's just my gum swollen because of my wisdom tooth. It's just sprouting, and it's been swollen for about a couple of days now, and I don't know if it's like getting what do you call that? If it's getting smaller or getting bigger, I don't even know. And I hope after a couple of days, after a couple of weeks, maybe I might be able to have it removed, my wisdom tooth. And I don't know, I know that that's not important for you, but I just wanted to address this. This might be elephant in the room if I don't talk about this swollen gum of mine. So there you go. Anyway, I wanted to talk about something again. Well, I know you're quite used to it now, but I have another thought that I want to share with you guys. And again, you're free to disagree or agree with my take or with my argument. I'll gladly accept those. The thing that I wanted to talk about today is actually you will not find what you're not seeking. It's actually obvious, right? It's an obvious statement. It's a common sense, right? You will not be able to find if you're not looking for it. But that does not apply only with the things that we're physically looking for. What do I mean by that? Like physically, like you're trying to find, for example, a pen, right? Of course, you will try and have a picture in mind. What does your pen look like? Where did you last put it? So you will look for it and you will retrace your last steps on where you found it or where you saw it last, right? And the point that I'm trying to make here now is more so within ourselves, within how well do we know ourselves in this seeking of things, right? What do I mean by that? Because as humans or as individuals, right, we have an ideal version of ourselves that we're trying to get to, right? Or at least that's what I think that everyone does. Everyone has their own picture or ideal self that they have in mind. And we know the quality that we need in order for us to get to where we want, in order for us to get to that ideal self, right? But the problem is, actually, one of the problems is we get so narrow, what do you call that? We get so tunnel vision, right? We focus too much on that finished version of our ideal self that we don't get or we don't see the little nuances that we need to have or acquire first in order for us to get there. What do I mean by that? Simple thing as appreciation. Appreciating the things that you have right now and being or practicing gratitude, right? Being able to practice gratitude with everything that you have right now, currently in your life, and be thankful for what you have now rather than think of what that ideal some things that you have in mind for the future that you think would be much better compared to the things that you have right now. And it's not something that I know you consciously think about, right? It's not something that you consciously think about the things that you should be thankful for. And I think I'm pointing this out because I want us, humans, generally, generally speaking, to appreciate the things that we have more in order for us to get to where we want to be. And I'm pointing this out because, as I said earlier, we get tunnel vision with the finished ideal self of ours, the perfect version of ourselves in the future, or the perfect version that we have in mind. And the statement that I said earlier will come here, right? You will not find what you're not seeking, right? Example. For example, your ideal self involves you, or your ideal self is a version of the self wherein you're much physically healthy. Example, right? But but you're not making any steps to get to that ideal physical or healthier, physically healthy version of yourself, physically healthier version of yourself, right? So it comes to the little nuances, the small steps that you take in order for you to get there. So if you have an ideal self that you want to get to, you have to seek the steps or the ways or approaches that you can do or that you can take to get to that ideal self, right? And it's not something that you consciously think about, right? It's not something, and you think that they just come to you naturally when you have like a finished version of the things that you want in the future and even version of yourself in the future, right? Because you think that these things will come to you naturally. And I think that's one of the mistakes that we make as humans, that everything will just come to the right places without us doing some things, seeking things in order for us to find the proper ways or approaches to deal with it or to gain it or to have it. And it's not something, as I've said, that we'll just consciously think about. And I want us, as I've said, start with yourself, of course, or actually within yourself only, right? Because you don't have to influence other people when they don't want to do it. But why am I doing it? Right? Well, I actually don't know. No, I'm just kidding. I just have a thought, right? I just have a thought in mind that I wanted to share. It's one of these things that I have, and it's up to you whether to practice it or not. Right? It's still up to you. I just wanted you to have a different perspective on it. And I don't know if I'm making sense right now, but I hope I am in some way. Here's the thing. As I've said earlier, there are times wherein we get tunnel vision. We get so focused on the end goal that we don't see the small things that we can or should acquire along the way in order for us to truly maximize the feeling that you should feel when you get to that end point, when you get to that ideal scenario, when you get to that ideal situation. And that's where it comes in. That's where when you will not see the things that you're not seeking, right? Because when we get tunnel vision, we don't see them. We don't see the little things that are in the way along, or that are in the along the way, right? And when we don't see them, or when we don't seek them, of course, we will not find them. We will not appreciate them. We will not gain them. We will not acquire them. And this doesn't only apply with, as I've said, with the physical things, with the physical things that we can touch, but more so introspectively, right? The characteristics within ourselves, the characteristics that we want, and the little nuances that we have ourselves that we don't actually realize that we have, because we're not seeking it. We're not seeking to have it because we're so unaware of the things that we actually need, or that we actually need to maximize in order for us to get to that ideal self, to get to that ideal situation or scenario that we want to be. And I don't know, I don't know where I'm going with this, but I just hope that, I didn't offend you in some way, because I know a lot of people will not actually get the message out of this video. Or actually, they might, because people are smart, right? And it's not that, actually, it's not a complicated or a deep message that I'm saying. It's not, it does not require you to, like, decipher it or anything like that. I'm not a philosopher of some sort. And I don't know, it's just that when you actually think of the things that you when you, let's just say this, when you broaden your perspective, when you broaden your point of view, you will begin to see the things that are along the way of the dreams of yours. Seek the things that will help you along the way, that will help you gain and help you maximize the happiness that you should feel when you get to that end point. And what are these things? What are these factors? And these are not only within yourself. These are not only that will help you improve or be better as a person, but more so the relationships that you can build along the way, the people that you will meet along the way. And is that something that everyone wants to have? And of course, I'm not going to force you to to really appreciate the people that you meet along the way, of course, right? Because we're not the same in how we interact with other people, but the value that you get out of them will be insurmountable, will be immeasurable. Not because of how you can use them, of course not. It's more so how they can help you appreciate the things that you will not realize for yourself. And it's when you surround yourself with people, actually with great people, and you will begin to seek the things that you need personally in order for you to realize and fully maximize the things and feelings that you should feel when you get to that end point or to that ideal goal. And did I make sense? I don't know. You will not find what you're not seeking. Do not get tunnel vision of your end goal. Learn to broaden your perspective so that you can see the little nuances that are actually within the road that you're taking along the way towards your goal, towards your ideal outcomes, towards your ideal self, towards your ideal dreams, towards your ideal scenarios, ideal situations. And it is only within that time that you will realize that you, as a human being, personally still lacks a lot of things that you can improve within yourself. And I think that's important to realize as individuals, especially if you want to get better, not just with how you look physically, but how you want to project yourself with other people, not just, as I've said, not just physically, but how you deal with things, how you react to things, and how you deal with different scenarios that may come up with to your life, right? And I don't know where I'm going with this, but I just hope that I help you in some way. I hope I don't know, help you change your perspective, of course, in a positive way. And as I've said earlier, you can disagree on this take and against this argument and comment down what you think, why you think it is a wrong argument or wrong perspective. I'm actually curious what you think about it. And I think that's about it. Stay awesome.